Here are a quick question for you. Who has ever sat down to do something important, but instead reorganized their desktop? Or maybe made a to-do list about your own to-do list? This is something I've been doing a lot since I've joined School of Humanity, and I want to tell you about the single idea that changed how I try to get things done. So for most of my life, I believe that action works like this. First, you need to find a purpose, then the energy comes from that purpose, and only then you act. It was a very reasonable thing to say, but I soon realized it was a lie, both from my experiences and from the words of people around me. But still I wasn't satisfied because I would constantly analyze everything, overthink, and yet, even though I clung to that, the energy didn't trigger, and I just became a professional at waiting. So after getting these professional waiting skills, I got very frustrated, especially because I observed this constantly. I decided, you know what? Let me read self-help books about the subject. So I can mention rapidly the book Uncertain by Ari Kruklanski and The Nature of Thought by Jiddu Krishnamurti. And these two books, among many others, my personal experiences and the words from other people, at some point it became impossible not to notice the common message that it all shared. It was that the real formula to action was not the one I was doing, which is thinking, purpose, then energy and action. It was the opposite. It was first action, then the energy comes up, and then you find a purpose, or you might not. But it was still painful to admit that what I was doing for years was the wrong thing. So take these 3 skill units, which are school projects aiming to test human literacies. For long fiction and drama, I was tasked with writing an essay of a chosen piece of fiction, and I feared starting that essay a lot. But once I was some paragraphs in, my desire to stop lessened slowly. Next, for how to think like a philosopher, my task was to train an AI to reason and analyze the reasoning of the AI. But once I opened the blank page and started analyzing, I felt like as an inferior human, I did not have the qualities to analyze it. But well, after I wrote a terrible draft about analyzing it, only then did I get the energy to continue. And lastly, the project Mental and Physical Health, which is a project that literally studies motivation, proved my own point and the pattern that was the same every time. So there is a moment that I keep coming back to every time in every project, and it is painfully to observe it every time as well, and still not act like it. It is when something clicks and the energy comes. And the painful realization is that no amount of thinking before the action can get me into that state of mind. And why it is so painful, and I am repeating those words, is because I have built my entire self on thinking. So for me, saying that you need to think less is like a madman's idea, and I just couldn't accept it. But despite it being deeply uncomfortable, here is a reflection that helps me manage this. It is the observation that over time, there is a huge gap that is created between 2 types of people. It was the type of people that do more but think less, and the type of people that do less but think more. And I am among the latter, and it frustrates me to see that gap creating. So here is where I am standing today. Firstly, because of these observations and painfully implanted experiences, I try to force myself to do things more and before thinking, because that saves me just a lot of headaches and trouble. And lastly, it is how I manage a certain circle, which I will call the do more, get energy, do more, or avoid and get less. In the past, I was more on the avoid and get less side of the cycle, but now I am significantly more on the do more, get energy, and do more cycle, which is a clear improvement on my part. So if I could go back and tell something to myself of the day one, it would be that regardless of what happens, if you do, it's better than not doing. And that would be my years at School of Humanity summarized.